Today on Public Eye News, the Olympics are underway in South Korea and the government is back open after a brief shutdown this morning.
Elijah Clorty takes us through our weather for the next few days, and Brian Gooch gives us a look at the Wildcats hockey matchup against Alaska Fairbanks this weekend. Hi, I'm Jillian Wormlinger.
And I'm Samantha Carter. Welcome to your Friday edition of Public Eye News. As of December 2017, Dickinson County Healthcare System announced they were seeking a relationship with Bell Health. Hospital administration has stated that despite the fact that the letter of intent signed last year is non-binding, all involved are confident in the deal. Dickinson County Healthcare System Administration also believes that being acquired by Bellin will continue to provide their high level of quality and enhance their ability to collect debt from insurance companies. A new ale is coming to Marquette's Ordock Brewing Company, and this one was inspired by unique circumstances. The ale, named Six Pointer, is a collaboration between Ordock and Stormy Kromer. While they are a clothing company, Stormy Kromer president Gina Thorson says they've expanded their products in recent years. She also said, quote, "For years we've jokingly referred to our wool can wraps as clothing for beer, so it only seems natural to have a Stormy Kromer beer to put in them," end quote. Six Pointer is a dark and drinkable German-style lager and will be released on Saturday, February 17th.
The Pine Mountain Lodge was busy tonight as the community came out to meet the ski jumpers competing in this weekend's Continental Cup. Jumpers from 10 countries are signed up to take part in this weekend's competition, and representatives from all nations were on hand tonight to meet the public. With weather conditions looking good for this weekend, several jumpers are looking forward to long jumps and good competition on the slopes. For more information, please check out the Keweenaw Ski Club website. And downtown Ishpeming could soon be part of the National Register of Historic Places. Jessica Flores, an architectural historian and pathologist with Preservation Forward, was recently hired by the Project Empire Initiative to help get Ishpeming on the National Registry. Since December, Flores has been researching downtown Ishpeming and speaking with community members and leaders to create a proposal for the state registry. If approved by the state, it would go to the National Registry for consideration.
Members of Congress are considering a one-year deadline for completing a federal study on keeping Asian carp out of the Great Lakes. The study involves strengthening defenses on the Brandon Road Lock and Dam study near Joliet, Illinois. The dam could act as a choke point between the Illinois River and Lake Michigan. The river is currently infested with Asian carp and could lead to damage to native fish if they become established in the lakes. The 26 lawmakers from the Great Lakes states said the next federal budget should order the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to finish the study by February 2019. In other fish-related news, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources just released a new plan that will guide future fishery management activities for the next 5 years. The 2018 to 2022 Fisheries Division Strategic Plan focuses on 5 major goals: ensuring healthy aquatic ecosystems and sustainable fisheries, promoting effective communication, outreach, and education, improving and building strategic resource partnerships, developing strategically focused assessment and decision support tools, and fostering efficient decision operations. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news. Stay tuned.
Coming up this week on High School Bowl, we enter a rarefied atmosphere. We have the best of the best, our Cerebral 16. In our first match, the Hancock Bulldogs go up against the Manistee Emeralds. Hi, I'm Jim Koski, and then in our second Cerebral 16 matchup, the Marquette Redmen take on the Houghton Gremlins. That's coming up this week in the first games of our Cerebral 16 on High School Bowl.
And welcome back. The flu has further tightened its grip on the U.S. This season is now as bad as the swine flu epidemic 9 years ago. A government report out Friday shows 1 of every 13 visits to the doctor last week was for fever, cough, and other symptoms of the flu. That ties the highest level seen in the U.S. since swine flu in 2009. The season has been driven by a nasty type of flu that tends to put more people in the hospital and cause more deaths than other more common flu bugs. This flu season, hospitalization rates have surpassed the nasty season of the winter of 2014 and 2015, when the vaccine was a poor match to the main bug. Health officials have said this year's vaccine targets the flu viruses that are currently making people sick, including the swine flu virus that has become a regular winter threat. And the second government shutdown in 3 weeks has ended. Congress approved a compromise budget bill, and then it headed to President Trump's desk. CBS News correspondent Mo Olengi has more from Capitol Hill on how Congress came to an agreement.
President Trump has signed a bipartisan $400 billion budget agreement, ending a brief government shutdown that began just after midnight. He tweeted, "Just signed bill. Our military will now be stronger than ever before. We love and need our military and gave them everything and more. First time this has happened in a long time. Also means jobs, jobs, jobs."
Is agreed to.
The Senate approved the bill in the early morning hours, pushed past the deadline because of a long protest over the cost of the deal by Senator Rand Paul. The legislation sharply increases spending and the federal deficit.
It's pure, empty partisan politics where people are saying, oh, it's okay for Republicans to have debts, but it was bad for Democrats to have debts.
Then it was the House's turn to sign off on the legislation.
This agreement accomplishes getting the resources that we need to rebuild our military.
The bill is tied to a temporary 6-week agreement to allow time for the deal to be enacted. It includes increased spending for the military, domestic programs, and disaster relief. Most Democrats in the House voted against the spending bill, trying to use it as leverage to get a vote on immigration. They want a deal on Dreamers, children brought illegally to the U.S. as children whose protection runs out next month.
The Speaker of the House refusal to commit to considering bipartisan legislation to protect teenagers and young adults from deportation is unjustifiable and maddening.
That issue will likely be the next major showdown in Congress. Mo Olengi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A historic moment occurred even before the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics had officially begun. As South Korean President Moon Jae-in and his wife greeted guests in their dignitary box before the opening ceremony, they shook hands with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's younger sister, Kim Yo Jong. Everyone involved broke out in smiles, and the handshake seemed to signify a diplomatic push by both countries. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and his wife arrived after the handshakes, and his office says he did not interact with the North Koreans. And the athletes and competition are not the only focus of this year's Olympic Games in South Korea. Ben Tracy has more on the Games from Pyeongchang.
So the Olympics sure has a way of bringing people together. Inside this stadium, you have the Vice President of the United States and the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. 28-year-old Kim Yo Jong arrived here in South Korea today. She is the first member of North Korea's ruling family to visit the South. Now, earlier today, Vice President Mike Pence toured a South Korean naval memorial and met with North Korean defectors. He brought with him the father of American college student Otto Warmbier, who died last year after being released from a North Korean prison. The vice president said the U.S. and South Korea are united in confronting the North Korean regime. But South and North Korea are marching under a unified flag at the opening ceremony. It shows the outline of the Korean peninsula. A majority of South Koreans oppose using that flag. There have been daily protests here, and some people we've talked to say they're upset about not seeing South Korea's flag paraded at the opening ceremony of its own Olympics. Of course, for the athletes, this is all about the competition, and the first medals of these Olympic Games are up for grabs on Saturday in everything from ski jumping to speed skating. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Pyeongchang, South Korea.
And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay with us.
What was it about hat making that sort of attracted you?
I get to create something that somebody's going to wear. This sits on your head like so.
Look at that.
Saturday afternoon at 3 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. I'm Elijah Clorting. The time is approximately 10 after the hour. As we look at our enemy sky cam, the sun is out and the temperatures are warming up. Taking a look into our current conditions. It is partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 13 degrees, winds north-northeast at 6 miles an hour, and a pressure of 30.30 inches, or 31 inches, and falling. And going into tonight, mostly clear skies. I'll expect a low of below 3 and winds west-southwest at 5 miles an hour. Going into tomorrow, expect partly cloudy skies, a high of 15 degrees, and winds north at 6 miles an hour. Taking a look across the UP, we have quite a bit of sun out there. 17 degrees up in Sault Ste. Marie, 15 degrees in Manistee, Escanaba, and Menominee, 14 degrees. The western half of the UP, it is 11 degrees in Iron Mountain. Ironwood is 8 degrees. Up in the Keweenaw Peninsula in Houghton, it is 9 degrees. And in our hometown of Marquette, Michigan, it is 12 degrees. Looking ahead, Sunday, expect a high of 26 degrees, a low of 7 degrees, and sunny. Monday, a high of 18 degrees, a low of 8 degrees, and some clouds. And Tuesday, a high of 31 degrees, low of 20 degrees, and mostly cloudy. Well, I heard you have a story about some Alaskans coming to NMU this weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the games this weekend. After returning from a 4-game road trip, the NMU hockey team will face University of Alaska Fairbanks at the Berry Event Center today and tomorrow at 7 p.m. both nights. The Wildcats were on a 7-game winning streak until last weekend when they lost to Alabama Huntsville on Sunday 4-2. NMU is still in first place in the WCHA and look to maintain their fantastic record this season. Northern's all-time record at home against Fairbanks is 23-7, so the odds are looking good for the Wildcats this weekend. The U.S. men's national soccer team failed to qualify for the upcoming 2018 World Cup back in October when they lost 2-1 to a second-string Trinidad and Tobago team in one of the most embarrassing losses in U.S. soccer history. This led to fans across the country calling for a complete reconstruction of the U.S. soccer establishment. These outbursts caused men's coach Bruce Arena to resign and has led to 8 different candidates running for president in the first contested election in 20 years since Sunil Gulati stepped down from the position. This is where we are now. Tomorrow, the annual U.S. soccer meeting will be held in Orlando, Florida, and the roughly 550 representatives will be voting for one of 8 representatives, which includes women's goalkeeper Hope Solo and former U.S. player Eric Wynalda. Yesterday, on home soil, the Korean curling team managed to defeat the Star American duo Becca and Matt Hamilton in 6 ends 9-1. With both teams going into this game 1-2 with 4 games remaining, meant both teams needed to win to secure their place in the semis. USA's Matt Hamilton was shooting under 50% the whole game, and it showed. After the match, Matt Hamilton said to reporters, quote, "We didn't handle the ice this game, and it's tough to stay energetic and hyped up when things aren't going your way, but nothing you can do but come back the next game and make something happen," end quote. The U.S. duo said they like playing under pressure, but last night the Koreans outshot them. Now, if you're an Olympic athlete, you want to try really hard to get into the Olympics, but I heard you have a story about someplace that you don't want to get into.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you're looking to stay at the Green Roof Inn, most likely not. A Florida sheriff says rooms are available and a new retro neon sign purchased with drug-seized assets features a blinking vacancy light. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Statley has dubbed the county jail the Green Roof Inn. A sign lists the amenities at the facility north of Daytona Beach. There is no privacy, group bathrooms, and no meal selection. But inmates do get free transportation to court and state prisons, designer handcuffs, and leg irons, color-coordinated jumpsuits, and shoes. And that's all the time we have for today on Public Eye News. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you Monday.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.